The sheer bravery of putting their lives on the line in defense of motherland is why, for over 50 years, Nigeria takes a chilling look at the past every January the 15th to solemnly honor the labor of our heroes in the armed forces, both present and veterans of World War I and II, as well as the Nigerian Civil War. The Armed Forces Remembrance Day in Nigeria is our focus on this episode of Special Report. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeffrey Uzong. January 15 every year is a day set aside to honor the service and sacrifice of men of the armed forces and to mark the end of the country's 30-month civil war, which ended on January 15, 1970. The day also honors veterans of the World War I and World War II, as well as the Nigerian Civil War. Upon the victory of the Nigerian state against the secessionist Republic of Biafra on January 15, 1970, the holiday was changed to January 15th in commemoration of the conclusion of the Nigerian Civil War that sought to tear apart the unity of the country. As an annual ritual, the 2022 Armed Forces Remembrance Day was celebrated across Nigeria. In the nation's capital, Abuja, President Muhammadu Buhari presided over the ceremony at the National Arcade in the Three-Arm Zone, where he inspected a guard of honor mounted by the detachments of the Nigerian Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Nigerian Legion.
Lord, grant our soldiers, officers and men, victory over every form of operations. Gold forever.
3 volleys of 21-gun salute. The President signs the Anniversary Day Register, and he releases the white pigeons, which connotes harmony and peace.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next will be the national salute, bringing us to the end of this very sober.
In the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos, the 2022 Armed Forces Remembrance Day was held at the Remembrance Arcade of Bayelsa Square. The state governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and service commanders in the state performed the ceremonial wreath-laying exercise.
It's a very simple but very important military activity that is statutory, and we must continue to support them in that. But going beyond that is to say that our government in particular have been partner in progress with the military, especially also spouses of serving and retired officers. If you guys will remember, just about a week ago, I was at the 9th Brigade, where I witnessed, you could see a governor for the first time in a very, very long time. He was attached to witness the Awasa celebration at the Night Brigade in Ikeja, where we did promise and ensure that the welfare that government can particularly directly give to the spouses and the following heroes from the various military formations are well put together. And so what we do is that we have designed a means of ensuring that our Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation Ministry, and our Wealth Creation Ministry ensure that each of their interventions, they try and push some components to either the wives of serving men or the fallen heroes. And we usually relate with them to ensure that we get numbers from them where we can support them and help them with a few of the skills that they require for them to get back, to life. And of course, the Nigerian legend, we continue to support them. They were with me the other day, where a cash donation of 50 million was also, pledged to be given to them from what was like a tenfold of what we used to give.
In Cross River State, the occasion avails the state government the opportunity to extol the sacrifices of ex-servicemen, whom they say risked their lives to keep Nigeria as one entity. The Deputy Governor, Professor Varisu, and other top government officials lament the living condition of the ex-servicemen. Highlight of the event was a presentation of this gift from the Nigerian Army.
The moral lesson is that it pays to serve your country to the best of your ability, including if you have to pay with your life. That you can see the kind of honor all over the country that we are bestowing on those who have fought for this country, and some of them have, with their lives, lost their lives. Well, a lot of things have been done directly to the Legion. You remember that this started with launching the emblem, and the monies were raised by individuals, by government, and so on. So that is one way such money is put together, what we use to try to help the widows.
Also in that region, a widow whose husband lost his life at the battlefield has called on the government at all levels to create an empowerment scheme to cater to the needs of widows.
I am the representative of widow, and I pray that let the governor of Bayelsa State bless the widow, empower the widow. Our children, nobody is training them. Let them help us to train our children, to empower the widows. Many of our children, they are in the house, no school, no good education. So I am pleading for our governor, Doyedri, to help the widow, to empower the widow.
The governor of Bayelsa State, Doyediri, while speaking at the event, asked the citizens to shun all forms of electoral violence, reiterating that no political ambition is worth spilling human blood.
This 2022 will trigger another episode in the political dynamics of our nation's democratic growth. And I believe that this occasion is ideal to reiterate my often stated optimism that elections should be about ballots and not bullets. That we should count ballots and not to count bullets. I give this admonition with the greatest sense of responsibility and humility, because the many wasted lives cut down in their prime in various electoral seasons. And I recall the one that happened in 2019 in precisely Nembe in Bayelsa State. Let us collectively vow that never again will the blood of Bayelsans water the ambitions of desperate politicians. Whereas the temptation to overzealously take matters into our own hands exists, let us pause and appreciate the fact that ultimately all power actually belongs to God. Our recent history in this state testifies to this. Let us continue to show love to our heroes and their loved ones by supporting the various projects and interventions that have been set up to care for our men and women in uniform. This includes, but is not limited to, making financial commitments to yielding our place in queues. The strength of any army lies in the unity and oneness of purpose. Bayelsans cannot afford to be separated in the interests of divided in purpose at the crucial time in the history of our state and of our country. As we have demonstrated several times over the nearly 2 years of the existence of this government of prosperity, we are better together than being divided. Let us unite to fight poverty, lack, ignorance, and all other vices.
The Deputy Governor of Taraba State, Haruna Manu, inspecting the 2022 parade of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. He urges the military to sustain the momentum against insecurity and ensure that peace reigns across the country.
As we are all aware, the nation is at a crossroads due to the plethora of security challenges like insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, and communal feuds, among others. Therefore, you should not be tired of serving your fatherland, as your expertise is more needed today than ever before. Great officers and soldiers of the Nigerian armed forces, both active and retired, this administration is cognizant of your plight and will thus reciprocate for your sacrifices by prioritizing your needs, which will undoubtedly improve your welfare and current status.
In Delta State, the Deputy Governor Kingsley Otuaro led top military and paramilitary officers to lay wreath at the statues of the unknown soldier.
Hello.
A 21-gun salute was taken in honor of the departed heroes. And some pigeons set free as a sign of peace. Some widows of the fallen heroes also used the occasion to draw the attention of the federal and state governments to their plight and seek support for them to be able to fend for themselves and their families.
Many widows are suffering. They don't care for them. Their children are there, nobody to care for them. Because we women, like we widows now, during the time of our husband in the service, we are the one behind them, like ironing their uniform. Unlike now, they are wearing, not during our own time, they wear some khaki. We polish even their shoe. Even the barrack, when they come to check the house, we scrub the rooms so that when the officer in charge come to check the room, if the house is not okay, they will lock up our husband. And when my husband comes back, it's we that the punishment will be on. Do you understand? So let them take care of our widows. The money they are giving out for the care of the widows, we don't see dying.
Let them be giving us something. It's once in a year, not twice. Once in a year, they used to give that money. We don't see anything. And nobody's helping the widows. Even we are many now. Some did not come out. There's one woman I called. Said she don't have transport money. At the end of the day, when she used the small money that she will feed her children to come here, at the end she will not get anything. That she don't have money to come.
prosperity, and success in Akwa Ibom State and Nigeria at large.
Smartly dressed in their various uniforms, display of color party, the reviewing officer, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, guided through the parade to mark the 2022 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in Port Harcourt, the state capital. Shortly after the activities at the parade ground, Governor Wike announced the donation of 50 million naira for the empowerment of widows of the fallen heroes.
Nigeria is at the crossroads, and everyone is worried about the prolonged Boko Haram insurgency, the unbridled killings by the bandits, and the increasing insecurity in most parts of our country, with members of our armed forces continue to pay the price of these internal wars. We acknowledge that some progress has been made in the fight against insurgents. However, the generality of Nigerians believe that the progress made can't be good enough insofar Boko Haram, its affiliates, and the bandits are still active in the northeast, northwest, and some other parts of the country, killing, maiming, kidnapping helpless people, including school children, and destroying and displacing helpless communities. We therefore call on Mr. President to redouble his efforts and fulfill his cardinal electoral promise to secure the country and ensure that Nigerians feel safe and remain safe and secure wherever they are in their own country. We also count on the armed forces to quickly end the raging insurgency and restore peace and hope to all our distressed people and communities who bear the physical, emotional, and psychological scares of war and destruction. Our troops are equal to accomplishing this noble task if well equipped and appropriately motivated by the federal government. In closing, I just want to say thank you to our armed forces, the veterans, and family members of our fallen heroes for your service and sacrifice to our nation and to every Nigerian. As usual, the Rivers State government in supporting the armed forces there, we will release those 50 million naira to the legionnaires to help our widows have something to be doing.
In Akwa Ibom State, Governor Odomi Emmanuel is asking Nigerians to embrace dialogue in resolving issues in the country. Speaking during the ceremony to mark this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day, he cautions that as the country gets ready to elect the next set of leaders in 2023, they should be reminded that national interest must override personal or group interest.
This is just a little effort on our part to show we appreciate the sacrifice of men and officers of the Nigerian Armed Forces are making to keep us safe and secure. At this juncture, I also want to let the widows of this legion know that the promise we made last year to support their trade with 100 million naira, that promise was redeemed. So I want to believe they will use it very well in order to improve their economic well-being. Let me use this opportunity to appeal to our people to eschew tendencies that help provide deferment for conflicts. We are a nation rich in diversity, and our diversity should represent our strength and not platforms to enlarge our fault lines or differences. God has given us all that we need to succeed and excel as a nation. We must work and meld these layers of our diversity and knit together a tapestry of oneness, brotherhood, and unity based on justice, equity, and fairness.
The special guest at the 2022 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in Zamfara State, Governor Bello Matawale, inspecting the parade of guards in Gazol, the state capital. Meanwhile, widows of fallen heroes are protesting what they call total negligence by the federal and state governments and are asking the government to look into their plight. They say most of them can hardly feed or pay their children's school fees or even their rent.
We are facing a lot of challenges in terms of empowerment and job, lacks of job. Majority of us, the parents, we have grown-up children. Some of them have the challenges of school, and some of them have managed to finish their school, no job. We have that challenges, and we have been. I have some personal problems that I don't have to bring it out here, because for me to say it here is a disgrace to even me, not to others out there. So I have a lot of problems that is disturbing me and my women with our children, most especially our children, because our problem is our children. If it is me alone, I don't have problem, but the burden is the problem. Look at these old women. They have grown-up children. And they want us to look good on our children. There is some children, when you see, you cannot present them that these children are once an army family. Why is it like that?
Governor Abubakar Bello of Niger State has asked security agencies to remain resolute to end the security challenges bedeviling the country. Speaking at the 2022 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration held at the permanent cenotaph in Minna, the state capital, Governor Bello commended the men of the Nigerian Armed Forces and other security agencies for protecting the lives of the people, especially in dealing with insurgency and criminal elements.
Today is a special day where we come to commiserate. We come to remember our fallen heroes that have lost their lives in wars or in the course of their assignments or duties. We have lost very fine men and women of the armed forces in different conflicts. So this is a moment to reflect on their service, to appreciate, to show the living ones that even after they depart in the course of their duties, we will never forget them. So we're facing challenges. Everyone knows with regards to the security situation within the country, and the military and all security agencies are doing their best. And we have started seeing results. They've started yielding results. So we hope, it is my prayer that these criminals, I call them criminals because they are criminals, will see reasons to stop what they are doing, because time is almost up. And I believe the government has decided to take a bold step to deal with them decisively.
In the northeast region, the governor of Adamawa State, Umaru Fintiri, joined other leaders across the country to celebrate the end of activities marking this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day at the Mahmoud Ribadu Square in Yola, the Adamawa State capital. Governor Fintiri appeals to Nigerians to continue praying for the fallen heroes while showing concern for their widows. He believes with perseverance and unity among Nigerians, peace will be attained.
I think the togetherness of this country is non-negotiable. We'll continue to maintain one country and in peace and unity. And we leaders will also continue to deploy development so that the citizens will feel better and united. I think we have no other country than to keep the united Nigeria. This is the only option for West Africa, for Africa, and for the world itself.
As we continue as a nation to remember the fallen heroes who fought against sworn enemies of the state, it is, however, important to not only put up this elaborate parade without a look at the welfare of those still alive and the loved ones of the fallen heroes. Now, to both past and present members of the armed forces, we thank you for your service and your sacrifice. And that's it on this episode of the program. Thanks for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo.